Question mark.
And welcome to another TROM-Cast. This time it's not the same day as before because we changed it to Wednesday. This is a weekday, and we were going to do TROM-Cast maybe in this weekday every week. We'll see at 6 p.m. because it's a Canadian celebration of weed. So it's maybe the best day for all of us. And we are going to stream only on YouTube this time because Facebook doesn't play well with Canada, Facebook is not well, and I want to share it on Facebook now that we are only going to stream there. So immediately I'm going to get back to the subject. Just click the post now button. Bam. Okay, so if you want to participate, go to tromsci.com/chat or /live, and we post there the link to participate if you want to participate. This podcast, we are going to discuss about our new project. We created a directory of trade-free goods and services, and before we go to that, I want to go quickly through. We usually have some news of the week, so I want to just go like 5 minutes through the news from that we get from Trump created news, because some news are related to the subject now, and so we move from that to the subject. Okay. And if Cody, if you have the news there, if
News
not,
is
we can
here.
wait for it. Do you have them?
The news is here. It's here. It's now.
Okay. So on tromsci.com/tools, we have this curated news and curated many things. And now we added the curated goods and services also. So you can stay in touch with everything that we do there. And yeah, I'm saving some news for like that are interesting to discuss a bit in TROM-Cast. And yeah, just go quickly through that and then discuss the directory, because I've seen some interesting news. Like one is I want to mention this study they are doing recently because of this COVID problem. Now they are doing this study with religion. Like they're saying, okay, what if prayer works to get rid of COVID? So they are making a scientific study, and they are using Buddhism, Muslim religion, or Christianity. They use all kinds of religions to test against normal treatment, to see if the patients will do better. And it's just interesting to mention that people are spending time on this bullshit. But I've seen this news. So do you guys think that it's going to prove it? Huh? Which religion do you think is better?
It depends on which religion support this study, fund it.
Yeah. But what I understand is basically they make the same treatment for different types of patients, and for some patients they also put a prayer on top of it. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're just doing prayer versus just whatever.
You do it properly. Okay. Which is very, I don't know who is going to enroll in this fucking study. Like, yeah, sure, I opt in for the prayer. Let's see.
Believers.
Yeah.
Which is the majority of the population.
Yeah, it's just, I think they involve a few thousand people, or I don't even think that they got enough people to enroll to do the study. But it's interesting to point out how science is done, At first I was like, is this for real? Yeah, apparently it's for real. So yeah, it's worth mentioning, so you guys know people take religion seriously. See if it works. For now it doesn't, so okay. I saw another news about it's about Mozilla and how the text-to-speech software is improving more and more, and they have an open source alternative, because most of this text-to-speech software is proprietary. And they did a study, and they realized that they tested people and say, hey, we give you some text that some people read, or machines, and you rate them which one is more pleasant to listen to. And some rated some machines better than humans. which is good to see that it's improvement in these regards and that they have an open source alternative to this voice text-to-speech software. It's interesting because you can make audiobooks, easily. You can just I use a text-to-speech for TROM documentary. It was not that great, but and I was using a demo. I could only record 400 characters at once. So imagine this: I went on the website. That's how I made the TROM documentary. Went on the website, copied 400 characters, click play, record it with my computer. Okay, then take another 400 characters, another 400 characters. I had to glue all of this together. And make a script for 14 hours documentary.
Wow,
I did it. So
impressive.
I would have loved to see an open source version where I could just fucking use that shit, and just let it read the text and so forth. But even back then, it was fine, But now it's getting a lot better. Actually, it's they record voices. I think it's the difference between voice synthesizer, right, and just recording voices and then putting those recordings together to read. Basically, they record the voice and then I think that's what they do right now. Voice synthesizer is modulating, right, the voice. I don't know if maybe Dima knows more about this, but probably that's how it is. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good thing. And we have 4 more news quickly. One is about if masks work. That's also, I think, an interesting news to read. Now with the COVID-19, are masks working? Because everybody is asking about that. Now in Spain, when you go to a supermarket, they don't let you in unless you have a mask. So you have to have a mask. They don't let you in. But it's an interesting article. Are they working? And the answer is not that simple. Depends what kind of masks, who wears them, where, for what purposes. It seems like it's a complete mix of we don't quite know. So
How do you wear them?
Yeah.
You also have to educate people on how to wear the mask.
Yeah, exactly. So it's no answer basically. It's, if you want to wear a mask, but don't rely on that at all.
But don't take it off when you cough. I've seen people do that, wearing the mask, and then they need to cough, so they take it off, cough in their hands, and then put the mask back on. That's not how. Then it's definitely not going to work.
But it makes sense, because if you will cough into that, you will need to buy a new one. So.
Yeah.
I've seen that here, people sneezing, they're they take the mask and that's not what it is for.
Yeah.
So,
Masks they're turning into new urban swag. You can't ruin them. They're quite expensive sometimes.
Yeah, they're also expensive, but they say that you can also make a mask at home, so it just has to cover your face. But I don't know. It's also very early to say. They have very little studies done, and you need a longer period of time. I think they did a study, and they took some people who had COVID, put a mask on their face, this normal mask that most people use. I think a surgical mask, and be like, okay, now you sneeze. Okay, you sneeze in a petri dish, and they realized that the virus, it doesn't quite stay inside the mask. It stays something outside the mask, so it goes through. It goes without a problem, kind of. Which is okay, well, let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a good episode on the podcast Science Versus as well about masks. It kind of explains some studies, the biggest studies that were done about the masks. And yeah, again, the evidence was also kind of inconclusive. But of course, if you wear a mask, a surgical mask is better than any random mask or any random cloth. And you should wear it properly.
Yeah, don't touch your motherfucking face all the time if you wear one. Everybody's like that, like this, like that, like this, like that.
I'm just gonna itch.
All right. Here in Spain, you also have to wear gloves in supermarkets, but they have a lack of gloves. So now they give you bags, plastic bags, which is extremely difficult.
And they drew little gloves onto the bags. They drew little hands on the bags, as if that makes it.
So it's just more bags. Imagine having 2 bags, and I try to open another bag to put some vegetables inside. I just fucking cannot do it. It's bothering.
So you have to wear them every time you go in the supermarket? Cool.
They give you them in front of the supermarkets. You don't have that in Germany?
No?
Germans don't care. Have you seen? They don't even die.
Well, you have. Yeah.
So it's more loose there. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you seem to be doing quite well.
Jeez.
But here's an interesting study, though. Did you know that if you smoke, you have less chances to get COVID? Huh? You will not think that. But it's interesting. There are some studies, to kind of showcase that. But then there are other studies saying, I'm not sure that's the case. And even if that's the case, don't just fucking smoke. You have more chances to die because of fucking smoking.
But what was the study?
They did
That was
studies
a joke or there's serious correlation?
Seriously.
They looked in France, I think, at the population and the people who died of COVID and those who didn't, who recovered, and they realized that there are a lot more people dying who don't smoke than those who smoke from that group. So
But maybe
it's a correlation, maybe, if you're a smoker. But there are other studies who showcase that it's not as simple at all. Like
plus it's mostly older people that die as well. So if you're old, you probably don't smoke. Otherwise, you would have already died.
I think they took these things into account or something, but it's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that maybe they even study this thing, but but just so you know, don't just smoke to get rid of COVID. It doesn't seem to work that well, and you'll probably die of other things anyways, right?
Did you see the study they're doing in Canada about the other type of smoke for COVID?
The one that you enjoy?
Oh, surprise.
Well, they're talking about it's in the preliminary or whatever, but that it destroys the receptors that COVID would bind to is the theory. So these people who are hardcore weed smokers that might be the thing that prevents the whole deal, man. The green makes the world go round.
Are you joining the study?
We're still waiting for the results. eagerly.
The smoke destroys your inside lungs. Wait, that's a great plan, man. Just drink bleach. Inhale it. Yeah, but interestingly, it's like, or what is to take from all of this is that it's too early with this COVID. They don't quite know, so don't bother that much about such things. Don't start to smoke or pray because it may not work. Either of them. And we have two other news. And one interesting is, I don't know how many know about this DAT protocol. It's this decentralized internet. It's very interesting. Right? For example, right now when you go on TROM site, you go on tromsite.com and you see this annoying HTTPS, blah, 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 blah. All of this means that it works off this network HTTPS. It's a network itself. But you may not think, like, oh, it's just the internet. No, it's one kind of internet. They developed another kind of internet called DAT that works basically. You can make a website on your computer, for example, or have a file and share with Aaron, for instance, if he has the same browser. And it creates, instead of tromsite.com, it's like a big strings of numbers and a unique one. So we can share with each other without servers. So anyways, it's really, really interesting. And they got a really big update. They transformed from that protocol to HyperCore and HyperDrive. And we are testing now because we want to share all of our materials over this DAT network. Because imagine that if I can share the entire, like all of the TROM files over this network, we don't need a server. We just share them directly with the people. And if Cody wants to help, he goes to this URL and he says, okay, I also want to host this, right? And he becomes a peer. So it's like when Sasha requests those files, she gets them from me and she gets also from Cody. So both of us, right? We deliver the files. It's really cool. It's decentralized. This decentralized nature that I really love about it. So we keep an eye on it and we also report bugs to them, and I've talking to the developers a bit, and it's interesting, super interesting. And eventually, my big plan is to make all of the websites that we have locally on my computer, and then share them via this DAT network, and then connect it with the HTTPS network. Basically, when you go to tromsite.com, the website is not served from a server, but from my own computer in a very easy manner. So I think it's really cool. it's super cool. So, and they're very kind of trade free because they don't push anything into your face. And one more news, and then we go to the trade free directory. It's it's called "What's the Matter with Tony Slatery?" I didn't know what this guy is, but who this guy is, because he might be a human. What this guy is a human. I put on the Trom Creative News this woman. It's a psychologist. Her name is Lucy Johnston. I really love this. How this she's a researcher. I love how she thinks. She's very scientific in regards to the so-called mental illnesses. She doesn't even want to pronounce this mental illnesses because she thinks that's a bullshit term, and it's quite bullshit term if you think about it. She's kind of it's an expert on she's a psychologist and an expert in trauma, and she's like she wants to showcase how our feelings, doesn't matter what we call them, like bipolar or depression, they're actually complex behaviors that are triggered by environmental factors. So she's very interesting. She has some lectures. You should search for her on YouTube for her lectures. But this, to summarize very quickly, this article, it's about, it was documentary by BBC Horizon. They usually make really great documentaries, but when it comes to mental health, everybody kind of like goes downhill and be like, I think it's like a chemical or genes that make us depressed or whatever. And it's kind of bullshit. It's like people are suffering, but there is no proof that there is any gene or any chemical in the brain. It's their trauma. And it discussed about this guy who was quite a celebrity in UK. And this guy now has bipolar and other diseases, and they make a documentary about him, trying to cure him. But what's interesting is that this guy was raped when he was 8 by a priest. And somehow they don't focus on that. They're like, even though the guy said, I think that was a really big problem in my life and I cannot get over it. And he started to drink and all of that. So it's an interesting article to see her kind of unwrapping this documentary, taking it apart and showcasing where they fail and how we should approach all kinds of this mental problem issue in our society. It's a very interesting article, and I really suggest to you watch her lectures or you read her blog, because I added her blog to Tom Created News. So whenever she posts, you might see there. Lucy Johnston. She's quite well known in UK, and she's now trying to reformulate the entire UK approach to mental diseases. She says something like, let's move from what's wrong with you to what made you the way you are, right? So you understand the cause. So it's very, very, very interesting. Okay, so now let's go to our trade. Oh, okay, you want to say something?
No, interesting.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. You should watch that. Okay, so we also have a blog by Sasha, but we are going to integrate that blog into our discussion about the trade free directory. So now we wanted to make a directory about trade free goods and services, and because we want to make that like a year ago or something, but we didn't quite have time or didn't have the ideas behind. And then Aaron, this guy who's like, I think he's the most violent and aggressive guy I know.
Can confirm.
And he talks so much, and he says that he wants to like take care of this project and grow it. So we say, okay, fuck it, let's just do a really great website, and let everybody contribute to this website. So Mr. Extremely aggressive man and really chatty and not friendly at all. Tell us what's this trade free directory about, and how does it work? And if Cody, in the meantime, you can also showcase the trade free directory and make sure that it looks really good, because we struggle to make it really good. Don't make it too squeezed,
So yeah, exactly. We had this idea of making this directory to promote the idea of trade as the origin of most problems, and also showcase solutions or organizations, projects who provide goods and services in a trade-free manner that exist today in this world. And like Wikipedia is a very good example. And we want this website to be a huge directory, just as a collection, so people can see, okay, what trade-free goods and services exist in the world today, and how do that, so people can see that and can add more also, because we want to make this participatory, so people can get involved and can also submit organizations or like goods and services which are trade free, and also rate them, because like it's difficult sometimes to spot the trades of a good and service. And if more and more people will look or observe a trade-free good and services, they may find a trade, like some ads on the website or some trackers or something. And the more eyes on that, I think the better it gets. Like the more people are involved, the better it gets. And yeah, I just wanted to help this. I think this is an awesome idea, and I'm so excited about this. So that's why I also wanted to like help with that. And yeah, let's see how it will
Yeah,
develop.
and he has to sleep a bit more, because he's, for the past weeks or so, he's like he added lots of stuff and he's like reviewing them like crazy. He really goes deep into that. He's like making accounts to these services to see, okay, what do they want from me? But
Yeah.
I think Aaron was the best here, and he also said that is that you learn a lot what's trade free, what's not, and you really get more used to that, right?
Exactly. It's also an educational tool, because you learn a lot. Like, what are the macro trades, or what is a micro trade? Like, let's take a social network like Mastodon or Diaspora, which are very trade free, but you have to register an account. But I wouldn't consider that as a trade, because it just, you have to have an account for that. But then, of course, you have Facebook, and they collect your data, so they
Ads.
and have ads. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's clearly a trade-based service. So we won't
Yeah,
add
so
that.
basically, this is a collection. It's a collection of trade-free goods and services, and the idea here is that to make it so participatory that anyone can go there and add whatever they know in terms of goods and services out there, and in time to have thousands upon thousands of these services, and everything is labeled very nicely. We made this website in a way that, let's say, Cody, if you can, let's say, I'd put Wikipedia there or something, put something, doesn't matter, or Internet Archive. And let's say Internet Archive, okay? You can search, you can search to all of this. We have a search, we have categories and so forth. So if you put Internet Archive, let me know it when you put it up to explain. Okay. So underneath our Internet Archive, you'll see some 5 blocks. We said that let's make it in a more like unique way. And 5 blocks means know how much trade free it is, because you cannot say, okay, it's trade free or not. We should say, well, what parts of it are trade free, what parts are not, and it's an educational and a learning process. And the less blocks you give, the less it's likely to be trade free. You know, it's like 1 block is like probably it's not trade free. So you can see Internet Archive has like 4.5 blocks, and you're like, okay, what the fuck does that mean, right? And if you go to the down to the comments, you will see that how we rated it, and it's like a accumulation of how we rated it. And we give, for example, 4 blocks because they also collect some data. Maybe they have some reasons behind that. I didn't see it, but they have some analytics. Of course, that doesn't make Internet Archive useless, not at all. But it's just a nice way to like just point out, like, hey, look, these are also tracking you a little bit. They want some data from you, or just for you to educate yourself, because the entire Internet Archive is an amazing service, and you can label it as trade free. And as you can see, you have a form there, and you can submit a review. We say, if you want to vote, you are forced to also say why are you giving whatever rating you are giving, so we understand. You know, if you give 1 block, explain there, and everyone can see your decision. And in the end, all this will accumulate, and the rating will become more and more relevant with time. That's the idea behind it, right? You don't need an account on TradeFree. That, by the way, is tradefree.org/directory. You can also see the link on the tradefree.org. It's trade-free.org. I don't know what that line is called. Sasha, don't laugh. It's like this. Tradeline-free.org/directory. Right. So, and one more thing I want to mention is that you will see this in a like black box. If Cody sees this, when it says official website, it's underneath the featured image is this box. You see 3 things about each product, right? What are these, Aaron? These 3 blocks.
Under what?
We put 3 blocks. We decided to make like three things about each service. So it's an official website, is the description short description for each goods and service, and underneath, what each of them offer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the cool thing about this, what they offer, is that this also act like tags. So say Internet Archive offers books, right, amongst other things. You can, if you click books, you will see all of the trade-free goods and services that offer books. So it's super cool because it's integrated this way, right? So that's it. It's very simple. It's a very simple website, right? And Aaron, if you can tell us how do you add stuff to it? And I think, Aaron, that you lie. I think that Wikipedia, you put Wikipedia there, but I think they are not trade free because they accept donations and they pay for their servers. What are you going to say to that, Aaron? They are not trade free.
No, it's about that there's no trade between the service and you. Like, you have access to the knowledge of Wikipedia, to the encyclopedia, and you don't have to give anything for that. You don't have to pay for that. You don't have to give your data. They don't ask for your data or something. So this is trade free. Of course, Wikipedia is based on or relies on donations, but we don't care like how they are organized. It's just about the service. If that's trade free, then it's added to the directory.
Yeah, because that's a misconception, right, that some had when we discussed with them at first. They're like, well, but Wikipedia is not trade free because they use servers. Well, but we talk about the service between the service itself. Like, to me, are they trade free to me if they don't ask anything in return from what they offer? Like, if I just can access the website and then they want my data, they don't want my attention, then right, it's trade free. That's how we should label stuff. I think Sasha gave a good example here. She says, like, you can think of recycled products, right? I'm having a recycled, let's see, whatever the fuck, I have a recycled remote, right? Is made with recycled product, maybe, but the machinery that made the thing, were they recycled, right? The machinery that, no, so, but this still is a recycled product. We can call it a recycle. It's made from recycled materials. And now, the machinery that made the fucking thing, the remote, are they made from recycled materials and recycled material? Of course, you go nuts. So same here. It's like, is the service between me and the thing is trade free? Is what is happening here? If it is, yes. Or the example with sugar free, is whatever it is, a piece of bread, let's say, I don't know, is sugar free. Okay, if it's sugar free, is good. Did that piece of bread had sugar before that? Maybe if they extracted that in the process and now it's sugar free from me, it's sugar free, right? So that's what it is, trade free. It's between you and the good and service, right?
Yeah, and you have to understand with donations that they're voluntary. So, Wikipedia doesn't say, if they said, oh, you have to donate, it wouldn't be donate. It would be a fee if you have to give them money to access the site. But since it's voluntary, you can still access the site just the same way as you would be able to without donating or with donating, then it's trade free. I mean,
yeah.
Exactly.
Like, we have an example, DuckDuckGo. So DuckDuckGo is a search engine, and we even use it for TROM-Java as the default search engine. And I got a bit tricked by them because everybody is saying, oh, DuckDuckGo is a much better alternative to Google. Probably it is, but if you look in terms of trades, DuckDuckGo also injects ads. So if you search for something, I don't know, USB mic, for example, DuckDuckGo will push some, first in the results, there will be ads, right? So they want your attention. Yes, they say they want that to pay for the servers and so forth, but we all know that even Google started in a nice way, and we will see another example with couchsurfing very soon. So I got tricked because I have an ad blocker, and I don't see ads, right? So I forgot that they didn't put ads. So now I'm like, oh, fuck that DuckDuckGo, you motherfuckers, No, but I don't know, some others commented there when we put DuckDuckGo, they also serve ads. And I'm like, oh, do they? I forgot. Luckily, we found another a good search engine that we will replace the DuckDuckGo with. It's much better, actually. A really cool search engine. It's decentralized, open source, doesn't want anything from you. So that's a good example of things that you may not consider. You think, oh, DuckDuckGo or Couch or whatever, they're good, they're trade free, and we left that DuckDuckGo there because it's important for people to see such examples, right? It's still a good search engine, but not forget about the fact that they also insert ads into your face. No.
Yeah, and that's why the review system is so important, and Aaron did a really great job, Matteo as well, with like actually looking really in depth at what all of these organizations do, what they want from you, to give like a thorough review. Because I think that's really a great way for people to understand this concept, is look at these examples and then look at people's reviews. Like, okay, it's a little bit not trade free because of this trackers, it's a little bit not trade free because, maybe they don't seem to want anything, but, okay, they might put ads or whatever. So that's...
Yeah, maybe we can talk about how to spot trades. Like, how can you find out if something is trade-based or not? And I think a great tool is the weight, the what am I trading, the question mark. You just ask, like, if you go on Wikipedia or Internet Archive or whatever, what am I trading? Like, and if they don't want your money, you don't have to give your money to access Internet Archive. And you don't have to trade your attention for watching ads, or you don't have to provide your data for them to sell them to another company. Then you can like say, okay, it's a trade-free service. I think very great tools for checking out these hidden trades, kind of, whether a website collects data or shows ads, is the Privacy Badger and the uBlock Origin plugin. These are great plugins for Firefox, and you can just install them. And if you go on a website and click them, then you see, okay, this website has and like 5 or 10 trackers or whatever, and they are blocked by that plugin. Or on uBlock, they block ads, for example. So if you go on a website, you check Privacy Badger and uBlock Origin, and if they have a lot of things they block, then it's likely not a trade-free service.
Yeah, and you can also talk about things in the real world as well. Like if somebody is giving away food, for example, is it an organization or whoever is just giving away food just to feed people and it's trade free, or do they want something from you? Are they asking you to sign up to something in order to receive the food? Are they asking you to listen to like a religious lecture to receive the food or something? So
it makes you more alert, because you can just thinking this simple fact, like, let's say I make books. I wrote 5-6 books. Now, if I only want to share the books with people, that's all I want. It should be trade free. Like, hey, no, access my books. I give you my books. It should be as simple as that. But if I put them on a website and you can only access them if you give me $1.99, or if you see these ads, then I want more than that. It's quite easy to understand this idea, right? If they really want that, if YouTube only wanted to let people post videos there and share with others and watch, that's all they will do. Not post ads there, not like suggest what is more watchable so that you can spend more time on their platforms and so forth. So it's quite easy to understand this idea behind. However, it can be extremely difficult to spot these things because people get so fucking tricky. Like there are some who say, okay, our software is completely free. Everything is free. You read through their whatever documentation, whatever. But they have this hidden page where they say, well, people who donate because we care about them, we also give them these 3, 4, 5 features for the app, like faster updates or whatever. I'm like, oh, motherfuckers, that's not donation, right? This is an exchange, So you have to be really careful with such things. It can be tricky. But I think, as far as I know, is the best tool that I can think about to detect these bullshit things that are happening in the world today, right? So that's what the directory is for here. We need your help. Aaron cannot. This guy works a lot to translate shit and then create accounts and then do this and that. He is just one. He might be a German machine, but he's still human, So he cannot do all of this alone. So he needs your help. I'll try to help, but I will be busy with the other things now. So the more you rate such things, the more relevant they will become. If you go on these websites, like let's take another example. We know this from Sasha. These botties, right? There are these. What are these, Sasha?
Botties. You find cabins like this all over the world. Basically, these ones in particular are in the UK. So if you go hiking, there are like remote shelters where people can just show up and they can just stay there. It's primarily for like hikers and bikers. So you don't need to reserve the bothies ahead of time. You don't have to pay for them. You don't have to. It's just a shelter with an open door. You come in there, you can sleep there for the night and leave whenever you want and go on. So it's a trade-free shelter basically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then if you go on their official website, for example, you'll see that they have some trackers, and some may argue like, well, okay, but let's not be jackass. No, what they offer is trade-free. They fuck their website.
Yeah, they offer the bothies, not a service on the website.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
However, since it's their main gateway towards their service usually, so you go there to get information, maybe contact them to see where they are available and so forth, is part of their service. So from my view, I would say, okay, I want to make people aware of that. I will give them 4 blocks or 3 blocks, rate them like that, because I say, look, they have some trackers on their website. So that's not good. They still have a great service, but let's not forget about that. So that's also a good point, because many volunteer organizations, I went on their websites and they have all kinds of ads and trackers. Sometimes they may not even be aware of that. Like TROM site also had some or other of our projects, because it's so difficult. You use some plugins on their website and you don't even know that they have some Google fonts or Google whatever, and they inject some trackers. Sometimes can inject some ads into your website. So it may not be their fault. I'm quite sure it's not their fault. So for example, if they just post one YouTube video, imagine this, one YouTube video on their website, Google collects data and Google injects ads into that website through their video player. Sure, it's not a big of a deal. They still offer an amazing, fantastic service in Africa, in Uganda, in specifically whatever countries, tribes, and so forth. But it's worth mentioning. So I think that's important. It's just worth mentioning. Why not? Why not mention? Make people aware of such thing, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that they're like not trade free. But their service that they're providing is basically trade free. It's just to make people aware that there might be some trackers or ads or whatever. So.
Yeah, another example is the public transportation in Luxembourg. This is now kind of free for everybody since this year, I think. So we added it to the trade-free directory. But then if you look closer on it, then you have to show your personal identification at all time. And this is also considered a trade. And then they also have Google Analytics on their website. So it's not completely trade-free. It's just like, yeah, you are aware of these little things. And why do they make that?
Yeah, and if you don't agree with Aaron and Aaron leaves that comment and rates them badly, let's say, you should go there and you rate and say, okay, I don't think that's a trade, they require identification or whatever. You can do that. It's a discussion. That's the most important thing here, to have a discussion about such things, to understand them better. I think that's the important part of it all.
I think it's also awesome that we just you don't need an account to write a comment or something, to review stuff. It's open for everyone.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and it's just started, right? So this will be more relevant the more people are getting involved and the more stuff we put there. And I was also thinking it will be very useful for us in the future at TROM and so forth, because maybe I want to give some example of trade-free, I don't know, healthcare providing organizations to help other people by providing healthcare. Before it was difficult because I have to search for them. Now, if I click on the healthcare tag, I have a list of all of them that provide healthcare, for example, or to provide whatever else, medical assistance or from websites at whatever apps. So it's easier for me to link to such things. And maybe we can talk about accommodation, because that's something that it's important also to bring into discussion because of a post that Sasha made. So, and by the way, I'm watching the live stream and Aaron's face. I cannot see Aaron's face.
Yeah, everybody disappeared.
Well,
everybody disappeared?
I see T.O. and then I saw you when you were talking. But yeah, it's intermittent.
Yeah. So maybe, Aaron, you can also, Dima, we cannot see Dima. Maybe, Aaron, you can turn off and come back. Let's see, so we can also see your face. I will stay here because I'm very visible. Sasha, you can also do that.
Sasha, do it.
Also not visible?
Oh, no, now you're here and Tio disappeared. Like
I'm
the
here.
spotlight.
Yeah.
You disappeared.
So me and Sasha, we come back and blah blah blah.
Yeah, whoever's
What,
yakking. You look good. Okay,
Uh,
Dima, you're good. Aaron, you're good.
okay.
Theo, you're
Aaron,
not
you're
good.
I'm not good.
You're not
Okay,
good.
I'll just-
You can come back.
What about the commands? Oh, it's a bit too loud. Okay, so.
Commands.
Commands.
What about
Yeah.
now?
You're good,
No,
Theo.
fine,
no, at the trade-free directory, there is commands, yeah? So everyone can comment and rate stuff. But in order it to be, it has to be reviewed by Aaron or Theo, right? So
For now,
it's
because-
not trade. No, wait. So it's not trade-free, right? It have to be approved. If somebody posts a command which you don't accept, it won't be posted, right?
if you think that, then you should also rate it like that, and we were going to reply on that. But our reply will be this, because I was thinking about this. We just have started, so we have to like have a way to make people aware of this idea. Else people will just comment whatever they want, and in the end, we want to make it completely like the post. If you submit something, it submits automatically. If you review something, it reviews automatically. But for educational purposes now, so that people understand this idea, since it's a new idea, we either do it this way or we leave everything completely open. And if people have something against that, maybe we'll leave everything open and let's see where it goes. But eventually we'll do that for sure.
Yeah,
But I get your point.
Yeah, but I feel like it could, if people don't understand this concept and they start just rating stuff and commenting there, they might not, like it might turn into a mess. I don't know if people use it, because people might be rating like what the service is, like, okay, you have, I don't know, what's an example of one with a low, anyway, so they might be like, okay, whatever, say couch surfing. Say somebody wants to talk about couch surfing in a moment. Say somebody puts couch surfing on there, right? Because the service that people provide to each other within couch surfing is 100% trade-free. It's supposed to be. But couch surfing, the organization itself, is not trade-free at all. So if people just want to rate how good the organization is without understanding this trade-free concept, then it could turn into a mess. But so
Actually,
I agree with you and Aaron's idea now. As like
actually,
for now,
that's how we started. Actually, every review was going there automatically, and then some started to like rate 3 blocks or whatever, and put this comment like blah blah blah. Nothing, just like blah blah blah. I'm like, what? How are we going to deal with that, right? So I understand the point. It's a valid point, but maybe our points are also valid. The reason behind it. Same with the archive, for example, Internet Archive. Imagine if they will let upload anyone without an account. Probably bots could upload and they will completely fuck their servers. So if it's a reasonable motivation behind it, that's why this is more about a conversation here. Then, at least in my book of understandings, it's okay. I will not consider that a trade if it's a good explanation behind it. And for me, it's not a problem.
You can put the free directory on there and then rate it with 4 blocks.
I gave Tron site 4 blocks recently because we also have some trackers there. We cannot get rid of them now from Google. I gave them 4 blocks myself, right? I made a website. I gave 4 blocks. I know it's true. We have some trackers on some pages. I cannot get rid of the motherfuckers, or I can completely remove the search engine that we made, like a curated one. So, but that's good. It's good to mention such things.
But you're still kind of in a position of power. Like, I don't remember what I rated. It was DuckDuckGo or something else. So I rated like with 5 stars and said, yeah, it's good, but there are some trackers which they're not aware of. And then, I put 5 stars, and then I don't know. I think it was you, Theo. Then you put 3 stars and said, no, that's actually something. So the total number gets to 4.
That's the idea of the discussion.
Yeah, if you get my point. So by rating lower, like if you put 3 stars, the overall rating goes to 4 stars. So you kind of adjust it for the way you see it, right?
Oh no, you can say the same. If I rate 3 stars and you rate 5 stars, do you adjust it for how you want?
No, it was the situation. I'm telling you. So I rated something. I don't remember if it was DuckDuckGo or something, because I read several stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put 5 stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, okay, but there are some like ad trackers, but they're not aware about it. Maybe it wasn't DuckDuckGo or something. And then somebody else, I assume it was you or maybe Aaron, rated it as a 3 star. So overall star is 4, right? But I think if I wouldn't rate it at 5, you or Aaron would rate it as 4 straight away. So therefore, I'm taking my point is that you rate it 3 only to kind of level it up.
No, then no, I don't think I rated 3. I'm not sure if I rated 3 or not, but that happened with me and
Maybe
Aaron.
It's Aaron.
With me and Aaron several times, like maybe I rated 5 and Aaron rated 4 or 3, or me rated. But it's all about people. Like you rated however you want. Like I don't know what's your motivation behind that, but you rate however you want. That's the idea here. And the more you rate it, the more relevant it will become in time.
Okay, yeah, I'm just having fun because there was no review. I put 5 stars, and then somebody after straight away put 3, so the overall become 4. That's what I'm saying.
That's going to happen all the time. Like I put 5 reviews, 5 blogs on something, and someone else put 4. But so what?
No, but yeah, I know it was somebody, one of you, just to have this 4.
Well, I think that's just your projection. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think someone wanted to let's up with your rating. And if they did, then whatever.
Not with mine, just with overall. So let's see this situation. Somebody rates something as 1, and he put let's say reasonable arguments, right? But you generally don't agree with that, yeah? Like you as a moderator or Aaron. But still, you don't want to kind of ban these ratings because the guy put good points, but you don't want the service to be this low because you think it's not true anyway. So you just rate it a few times. I don't know, through several accounts. You don't need account. Yeah, just make several comments and then you raise up the rating. But it's possible, right?
And you make the point. Yeah, you don't need an account, so anyone can do the same. So it's not only about me. You can do the same, right?
Yeah, of course I can do the same. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I saw from my experience. What happens?
Yeah, so you could do the same. Like I don't have you have as much power as I have. Go all of them on the website.
No, you have more power because you
less,
can reject my comment.
Well, if you think that we're going to not post some reviews because they rate them low, then okay, but I will not say that we are going to do that. And if you want, we can how can we deal with this then? Because I can make it completely all of the reviews go live as soon as you post it, and that's what we did. That's how we started. But then I got a bit concerned when someone started to rate and be like blah blah blah, saying nothing, just like spam.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to deal with that. If you know a different way to deal with it, then I'll be much better than Aaron and me starting to approve all the time, because that's what we do. Just approve. If it's nothing completely spam, then
I totally agree. I mean, it's the right point to do. If we would just do it in the free form, it will be the scammed pretty quickly. But the point is not the point, but the question is it still considered trade free then in such way when you have to approve comment?
What if it's not, then you should make that point. If you put the website on there, and then we make our point, why is like that? You can make the same point with Internet Archive, like I told you. You can say, yeah, they're not free, they require an account to upload. In my view, that's a reasonable way for them to do it, right? So it's a discussion. If like we discussed here, do you think something, maybe I'll think something else, and our average will reflect better trade free or Internet Archive, so it's not just 5 stars, it's just 2.5 or 3, and people can see why. when they can see the discussion.
Maybe it's worse to kind of explain those 5 stars. Let's say to have like introduction page where it says 5 stars is like completely free. Is there some ads? Then we put 4 stars and so on to make like more sense of what each kind of stars represent. Because for someone's, like for me, it seems not a big deal at all. If some website, like you mentioned, was Booties, right? They may be not aware about it, that some other trackers from Google collect their data. And I would still rate it as a 5. But then for someone, it's a big issue. Said, no, they have to, be aware about that. They should restrict that and so on. So, yeah, I don't know. Everyone is very subjective.
That's why it is the average that matters, and not your individual rating. We were always going to disagree on such things. I completely get you. I may say, okay, I don't give a fuck if they put some ads here and there. I don't feel like they provide something else. They are a volunteer organization that save orangutans, right? Fuck their website. But other people, we should be prepared for that. That's why I also put those things. I know it could be more pickier to say, they have a tracker on their website. They use Google Analytics. No. But others will do that. That's why we did it, because others will do that in time. We'll put that to see how it is, and that's going to work. It's going to be an average of all of our ideas, and people will see there our thinking if they want to see why I gave 1 star. And if I say some stupid reason, maybe they can judge based on that. It's as free as I can think about. Else I want to tell people what we say in the form where they submit. We explain like 1 block is likely not trade free, and 5 blocks is very likely to be trade free. And we explain something there with the blocks before they post the submit the review. No. So I think it's the average. I mean, don't you think that's the best way to just leave people if they are like you say, if they're bothered by trackers or not, they should say that and vote like that, and then it's an average, and then we'll see how it's going on. And one more thing, this is more like an experimental thing. I don't know exactly how it's going to evolve, so let's see. Maybe people will start spamming us and give 1 block to every fucking good and service, because we'll be like, oh, they're not trade free because they I don't know how it's going to look like. Let's see.
Yeah, it depends a lot on the people, what will happen, like in the future, how will it evolve and develop. Yeah.
Take accommodation, for example. Let's get back to that. And because Sasha wrote a blog about couch surfing. So maybe someone will want to add couch surfing and be like, okay, couch surfing is trade free. But Sasha will say it's not trade free. And why would say Sasha that? Why are you so mean?
Yeah, I mean, so couch surfing started off as a really great idea. If you have a place in your home that you don't mind sharing with some random people, travelers, say, you can make a profile, and you can say, I can host in this city. If some traveler comes to the city and they see that you're an available host, they'll write you a message or a request asking if they can stay with you. So the host is not supposed to ask for any money for them to stay with them. They're not supposed to ask for them to cook them food, like get naked, anything. You don't want any trades. So basically, the idea was to kind of create a community of like travelers and people that are, happy to share things with each other, their space. And I was involved in couchsurfing for a long time, for like the last 10 years or something. I hosted, I surfed like all over the world. I made meetups. I went to meetups, met lots of people, and I loved it. But the website, I noticed, like, kept on getting worse and worse. So couchsurfing started off as like a domestic nonprofit. I don't know. Some people say that, perhaps they were like planning to make a business all along. I don't know. In 2011, they turned the website couchsurfing.com into the project into a for-profit corporation. So after that, they got like millions, like $22.6 million of investments, and they made it sound like, oh, this is such a great thing. We're going to make this project better. This is all for the community. But, people have to understand that, when investors invest, it's not like a donation where like, let's put this money into the community and make this website better. No, they're putting that money into couch surfing, expecting to get it back and make a profit. So that's when you see like the slippery slope starting to get slipperier. So once couch surfing turned for profit, then they started put ads onto their website. They collected a shitload of data, and they say like, we have never sold your data. It is unethical. We will never do that. We promise that we have never done that. But Google says the same thing. We do not sell your data. But if you read the privacy policy, they they share your data, and they have like this whole very confusing line of sharing your data and making billions of dollars off of your data. So I'm not sure. I don't think Couchsurfing makes billions of dollars, but I'm sure that it makes money off of data somehow or another. If you read their privacy policy, probably that's one factor. Anyway, and then they started pushing this like verification thing. So if you send Couchsurfing money and give them an address, then they verify this address and give you a little green verification badge. So this verification is something like $59 or something. I don't know. I never paid for it, so I don't know how much it is. Maybe less, maybe more, depending on where you live. And there was even like a lifetime verification. So you pay a price to Couchsurfing, and then you get verified, and that's it. So this is the problem, because people might believe that people that are verified are actually safe to stay with. But Couchsurfing shouldn't depend on who gives Couchsurfing money. It should depend on reviews. So the way it works is that if I have a place where somebody can crash and somebody stays with me, once somebody has stayed with me, we both leave each other reviews. So basically, the whole like system of trust is built on reviews. But Couchsurfing kind of made that maybe less relevant for people that have just paid money. Anyway, so just recently, Couchsurfing also decided to completely block off people's accounts and make it mandatory to pay a fee to access your profile. So they did this without any warning or anything. So now you can't access your profile at all. You can't access Couchsurfing. You can't get any photos that you've uploaded. You can't read your messages or see the contacts that you've made over like the last 10 years of people that you've interacted with through Couchsurfing. You can't do anything in Couchsurfing unless you pay them money. Which was a really low move, especially because when they turned for profit, they still have it on their blog that they said Couchsurfing will always be free to surf and post, and now it's not. So
see, but
anyway.
one thing that is important there, I think, to insert is like, even before they introduced this, what we call as maybe a micro trade, like direct trade, very obvious, like, hey, you pay to access. Even before that, if they would have said Couchsurfing is free, our service here, they are not right, and they just make a bad use of the word free, because they wanted people's attention because they inserted ads. They wanted people's data because they use the data for all kinds of purposes. Three, they wanted this verification and so forth. So if people were okay before and they didn't make this connection, I think that's where the problem is, and we have to educate, I would say, people, or inform people about such things. Because yes, now they are pissed off at Couchsurfing. Why were they not pissed off before that, right? So I think that's
they were pissed off before that. Actually, a lot of people were
not like
very,
now,
very pissed off. Yeah, but now it's like the final straw. Like, this is it. And yeah, because
it's the slippery slope, right? Because they said we will never, whatever, we will always be free. Aren't so many companies saying that all the fucking time? We will never sell. We will never do that. Well, it's kind of difficult to resist in this world. And whenever you push small trades, like, well, we only want this verification from people. Well, it means that you kind of rely on the money that people send you for the verification. So it pushes you to be more like, maybe what if we also need their attention? And maybe this a little bit. And it's like a snowball effect, becoming bigger and bigger the way it goes downhill of this.
Yeah, and you can also see this with this verification thing, because at first they just started kind of advertising this verification thing, and just like in 2017, they made it so that they limited you if you're not verified. And I hate these motherfuckers because they make it sound like every time they make a dickhead change like this, they make it sound like it's for the community. It's such a great thing. So with this verification thing, so they said if you don't pay money to Couchsurfing, then you can only send 10 messages per week. And 10 messages is not a lot if you're like Couchsurfing in big cities where it's hard sometimes to find people to stay with, or if you're going from one city to another, say you're a cyclist, or if you're just backpacking, I don't know, you often go to more than one city in a week. So 10 messages is very limiting. But they made it sound like, oh, this is for you because this will make surfers write more meaningful messages to their hosts. But then it's like, okay, if that was really the case, then how come those that have paid can write unlimited messages?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And every time they're like, oh, this is, it's for you. It's to make it better for you. And
of course, this narrative is so popular nowadays. Like we said before, Facebook is not an ad company. No, they want to connect people, right? Everybody's like that. Google wants to create a better world. Whatever. Airbnb is not about renting apartments. It's about providing opportunities for like whatever. And it's working because they really fool people with these bullshit claims, right? So couchsurfing is one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the Silicon Valley narrative,
But it's Aaron and Sasha. But what are the trade-free alternatives of couchsurfing? Because they will say, yes, Sasha, but we need those money to run our service because we have so many millions of users. We need to pay for the fucking things, and so forth. We really need that shit. So are there any alternatives then? Some people may ask.
Yes, I think you said trust roots, and what was the other one? Befriend or something?
Be welcome.
Be welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we found two alternatives that seem quite good, and Aaron also went in, and I made a profile as well and checked through them, and Aaron did it as well, and they seem to be quite legitimate. Be Welcome is run by Be Volunteer. It's a French nonprofit, and they just collect donations to help maintain the cost of the project of running the website and everything. They only ask for like 1,300 euros per year in donations, so that's enough for them to pay for their server and stuff. They have like over 100,000 people using the website. And yeah, they're not looking for anything. You can see there's no trackers on their website. They don't put ads there. They don't ask for a fee, and they seem to be, at least for now, trade free. And Trustwords is also the same thing. They made like HWiki and Nomad Wiki. So basically started by a bunch of people, they call themselves activists, that think that this world of sharing is being taken over by corporations, which Couchsurfing is clearly doing. And they're the same thing. Although Aaron found some trackers on Trustwords, right?
Yeah, I don't know now anymore, but I think I wrote a comment.
Yeah. But sometimes, like Theo said, sometimes that's really difficult to avoid, and maybe they're not even aware of it, So, but you can see they also run on volunteers, and they don't seem to be looking to make a profit or to get anything from their community. And I think that's really important. Because somebody else, for example, showed me an alternative. It was like Servus or something, I don't remember. But it was another kind of community like this, but they ask for a yearly fee, and then they also have some advertisements and stuff. And I told them, like, okay, and they're like, oh yeah, but it's like what Couchsurfing used to be. It's they're ethical or whatever. They just need this bare minimum to pay for the cost of running the project. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they're more legitimate than Couchsurfing right now. But the minute that you start wanting something from your community, which are your clients, basically could be your clients, that's when you get onto that slippery slope. So I would much rather join Be Welcome or Trustwords, than this other community that makes me pay. Why would you join this other community? Because rather than the trade-free ones, because even if they don't seem to be a dickhead now, 10 years ago I would never imagine that couch surfing would lock me out of my profile. So they're already on that slippery slope. So
it's also interesting to when they have this argument and saying, "Oh yeah, but we also need money because to run the servers, it's a lot of traffic, it's a complex system and so forth." I understand, but how is Wikipedia doing it, serving that Wikipedia editable Wikipedia to billions? How is Internet Archive? Probably Internet Archive needs a lot, much better server, since they host videos, they stream videos, they convert videos, save websites, have games there, books and whatever. Much more probably complex than any couchsurfing, which is just a listing, right? And the messaging system, Then how are the other ones who are like Grassroots or Be Welcome? How are they doing it with donations? Couldn't just couchsurfing say, look, let's keep this software trade free? They will not say trade free, of course, but and let's ask for donations. Why don't they ask just for donations, right? So it's clearly a slippery slope in their mentality from the get-go. When they say, okay, we don't have enough money, what if we ask trades from people? Oh, take their money for verification. Oh, attention, put ads and so forth. You see, that is again the snowball effect, and is going to lead to this bullshit. As soon as you start, this bullshit is going to grow on you so quickly. So I even saw some about Elon Musk is complaining that people don't open now with the COVID. They don't open the economy. Didn't he want to save the fucking world at one point? And my business is not working properly. So all these people get close to the trade bubble and then.
Yeah, so I think this trade-free directory is a great educational tool to make people aware of these trades, and to also say they are not okay, because it's not okay that YouTube collects your data and serves you with an algorithm videos to get you hooked to YouTube, just that you stay more time on YouTube and to make more profit for them. That's not okay, because that creates problems. So yeah, that's why we need trade-free alternatives, and this trade-free directory is a solution, like a tool. What?
I said we say that as we stream on YouTube.
Yeah, you see, that's more of an irony. That's the irony that Dima could say now, because we stream on YouTube, and that's a big okay, what the fuck, talk about trade.
As we talk shit about it.
Yeah. But my answer to that will be we cannot be 100% religious about this because we cannot afford it. I would love to stream somewhere else. I'm just myself, and then it's Aaron, and then just a few people who try to do this thing. But at least we admit it, okay, it's bullshit, and we post this TROM-Cast on Internet Archive. If there are other options, I'll be really happy to look into that, actually. But it's not. They took over the fucking world. I don't know how to stream if we don't. We also pay for our server and so forth. So, but the less we do such things, the more of an example maybe we offer to people. So
yeah, if there was trade-free food available, I would take that instead of going to the supermarket and buying food from all kinds of brands and whatever corporations. But sometimes you don't have the option. So with this example of couch surfing, okay, since there is an option, Be Welcome and Trusted, I'm going to use them, and I'm not going to use couch surfing.
Right.
Principle.
And Dima, I was also thinking about the thing you said about us having the power to approve things, and to not random trolls are trolling around or whatever. It's also Wikipedia also has to deal with that. You're not you need to have an account, or you need to register for Wikipedia to edit an article, and you cannot write random shit on it.
Sure. No, guys,
yeah, because they need to have the project.
And I don't know if the community, if people say, okay, that's obvious trade, and please remove that, and maybe we remove it then, and then let's see what happens. But if it's then going to be messed up, we cannot do that. Also Wikipedia has to have a certain quality, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you guys and everything. If we will leave it like that with totally trade-free access and stuff, I mean not trade-free access, but like if anyone can post straight away the comment, yeah, it will ruin everything. I saw that kind of. I mean, I'm sure all of you have seen a lot of examples like that. Like for me, it was when I was researching Mastodon and stuff, and they don't really censor anything or try to do it, and it's mainly about like gay porn and some really scam. And people free to post their everything, but you sit there for a while and then you don't want to use it anymore because of that. And there are many like examples like that. I was just asking like how serious you take it, if it's considered trade free or not. And to kind of make a point here, I also think we don't need to take it as religious, and go into such minuscule sectors, the same as Theo just said about YouTube and stuff, and so on. I mean, it's just the direction, and every one of us is not capable of living trade-free life in any sense. We all need to earn somehow money, and so on. But it doesn't stop us from doing something, besides that for free and promote the idea and so on.
Yeah, I'm sure even when the guy started with the open source, I'm sure the first open source software probably was made on a proprietary based software computer, like with Windows. Probably they made the first open source program because they had to start from somewhere, right? But in time they evolve. Even those people are struggling to just use open source and so forth. But the most important part here is the education about it, to make people aware that, hey, these are problems and why they are problems, and here are some alternatives. And we see how we will evolve. I think that's important. There are all kinds of other cool alternatives to this kind of moderation I've seen. So, for example, they have this PeerTube. We forgot to read the news about PeerTube, but PeerTube is actually like a YouTube that you can install on your own server, even on your local computer, and stream it in the internet. They will want to support live streaming now and so forth. So the cool thing about this is it's a software that you can install on your own, and you can all come with your own rules. So it's almost like Mastodon. If you see lots of gay porn, you can move to another instance, take your bags, move to another instance. At least it's better, I think, than just be one entity that will just say, okay, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. Give people control. Should be like as easy as if Dima doesn't want to see gay porn, which could be cool, man. I don't know. I haven't watched that much, but if she doesn't want to, she should toggle that button and be like, I don't want to see gay porn, and should be a filter there. Put people in control, if you have the resources.
Yeah, and then you go another room and there is nobody because it's the way it is.
There's so many gay porn there.
So there are ways to put the control in.
Yeah, sure, but it's
people.
not what you expect. I mean, maybe we should start from somewhere else with education or something, when to give power to the people. I don't know. It's just the way I see. Or maybe it should go together.
There are also good filters. So, for example, search engines employ that, and they say you can use it raw. You search whatever the fuck you want, child porn, whatever. Or you can also opt in for our filters, for our educational flavor. If you want to see what we curate. So people can also use that if they can have control over it. So there are ways to go around this without having one on the top saying what is good or not for people to see or search and so forth, because that can also be bad, because Google doesn't want you to search for nudes or whatever they don't want to search for.
Yeah, sure. In theory, I agree with you, but in real life, it's not working. I don't know. And I think the way it should be, all this decentralization should go together with education. Because without it, if you want to raise educational level of humans and users, I don't know who's not, any good service will be polluted with stuff.
Yeah, but ad blockers are a good example. For instance, that many people use today. I choose to block ads or whatever. I choose their filters, But I think it's good that Firefox doesn't force me to use Firefox by default with their own filters, I think that would be a bad incentive. I think Chrome wants to do that. Chrome wants to put this so-called reasonable ads exception, whatever policy there, and block some ads and leave some ads out. And I would say, as a browser, for example, leave me do whatever I want, and then let me take a bit of control over, install an ad block or install a tracker and so forth. Because I think else is going to be a really slippery slope. I don't see it as a good example. That's why Firefox do not install an ad blocker by default, for example.
Yeah, but you shouldn't worry about Chrome. When you speak Chrome, just think about the Google. And as Sasha said, Google, they don't sell anything, and they claim they're just about sharing stuff. So they probably just share their goods, some valuable ads which you might use, some good Google stuff where they can get revenues.
Well, I think that it's really a good thing that Firefox doesn't try to tell me what. Although they do it sometimes, and they say, okay, the certificate for this website might be a problem. And we blocked the website for security reasons. Okay, that might be okay, but even that you can say click advance, and then I still want to visit this website. But in any case, there are ways. That's what I'm saying. There are ways. You can do it this way, or you can do it that way, or you can do it in the middle. But yeah, and what I liked about this trade free directory is I'm obsessed to curate stuff. I'm looking at a website and so forth. But when other people started to add, like Aaron started to add stuff to the directory, I was discovering new shit. I was like, okay, I haven't heard of these ones or of these ones. So it's a cool way to. It's such an easy way to come across these wonderful organizations and maybe use them. I don't know. Maybe there are some who offer food, and you may say, okay, but they offer food only in Berlin, for example. Okay. Put that there and say, okay, these people are not trade free for me because they offer food in Berlin. You are open to say that, if you really want to. I will not consider that a trade because they say we offer food in Berlin or whatever the fuck, So they cannot do it globally. But if you really understand that this is more about an educational thing rather than being so picky about everything, then you understand that, okay, being pickier is fine as long as we discuss about such things. It's okay. I like that. I like to even disagree there. It's fine, And
anyway, it could be much better than the other options that aren't trade-free at all.
Yeah.
They offer free food in Berlin. Okay, well, it's better than buying from whatever supermarket. If you're in Berlin.
Another thing with the language trade, like Gramasoft, they offer so much like trade-free software or educational materials, books, and such so forth. But they are available mostly in French and not in English, or not that much. So is that a trade? Well,
I wouldn't say so, because how can you possibly make it in every single language?
Yeah, we can say the same about English language.
Yeah,
what about people who
say
don't
about
speak
anything, because there's no project that's in every single language that's ever spoken.
Yeah, but if Aaron wants to post that, he should post that and be like, okay, it's only in English. Let people exercise this educational movement, whatever we want to call it, about these things. And in time we evolve. Like, what's open source? They really debate all the time. Even today, 30, 40 years later, they still debate what is open source. Is this open source or not? Well, it's good to debate because you are going to evolve and you understand it better,
Yeah, it's really interesting because there are now free and open source software, free Libre open source software, free software, all these kinds of different things, and they all have the same enemy in common, like proprietary software.
Yeah.
That's why we should focus on having trade as like the problem, and to focus on that, and then solutions will emerge.
And it will be diverse. And use will be diverse. If we keep the core view here, and that's what we kind of agree. Like, if we agree that proprietary software is bad, okay, then that's good. You will come up with all kinds of licenses. It's normal. If you say, okay, this trade creates really bad behaviors, then I don't know what else you will invent in terms of trade-free, what you understand by being trade-free, but I'm sure we will kind of be on the same path here, and that's important. Even here, you see, we might disagree here and there. So what? That's good. Let's make an average of our disagreement and let other people see what we disagree about and make their own minds. And we have so many things that we can add to the. If you can help, if you can go. I made so under submit you have a how to. Okay, wake up, Cody. We are live.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, under submit and how to, we explain in a very easy way and clean what we would kind of like this trade free directory to be about, So it's like a guidance, and first that we say it will be important is to make this directory about something that offers constantly a service. No, not like Karen wanting to give her Avon to people into code in Canada or whatever. That's great. And actually, next TROM-Cast, we will talk about Karen and her Avon, because we will talk about sharing and this new platform that Colin, someone who is also making this kind of projects, has built recently. But our trade directory should be about someone who offers constantly, a good or a service, because that's more reliable for us. Else, it will become a bit messy, and that's what we want with the directory, basically. That's the scope here. And then, so it should be. So I'm sorry. First was to be about what they offer in other organization. So we care about what they're offering. I don't even if Google offers something. If it's trade free, okay, that's great, right? We should not care about Karen in that regards. So no Karen, but what she offers, her Avon. Okay, keep in mind. Karen, no, her Avon, yes. And the last point is that the good should be as trade free as possible, and this is what we debated so far. Let's see what you interpret by that. We have a book about that if you want to read it, if you want to understand this idea. If not, soon we'll try to make a documentary about it. So there's basically three points there, how to, And the last thing that I wanted to say is under submit and submit. If you go there where people can submit stuff, and I hope it doesn't look so broken on your screen, because you probably have a weird screen resolution. And I'm a bit afraid because I was really struggling to make it very well.
That's good.
So are you on that page?
On that page? Like, you just want to see the submit review? Yeah.
No, the submit.
Yeah, submit review. Like, we want to know the reason. No bad?
No, not review. A submit, a good or a service.
Yeah, I got you.
So it's on top under the submit button.
Yep.
Okay. So this one, we made it so that it looks almost like the item that we added there. So it's so easy for everyone to submit it. I don't know if Cody is on that page now. Hopefully, we have a delay here. So you can put simply a title, an image, then a description and what they offer, and in a category. It's super easy. You don't need to have an account or anything like that. And on top of that, if you put the title of a service that's already there, say Wikipedia, for example, you will get a warning message that will say, "Hey, Wikipedia is already added." So it's good we don't duplicate stuff, right? So it's so easy to submit. I think like even Aaron, because Aaron has he's admin on the website, but he uses the front end, right? I think he uses the front end to submit stuff because it's much easier than the back end.
It's super easy, and at that point, I also have to say that Theo, you made a fantastic job. Like Theo made the design and made it so super well and so easy to add stuff. I also like how we organize the goods and services. We have different categories where you can find educational materials, media, entertainment, community, humanitarian, software, and other. So just as small categories where you can find different things. Then of course we have a big text list at the main page at the bottom where we find all kinds of different things sorted by the text and goods and services that they offer. And then also the submit page is super well done from Theo, so you did so.
Oh man, I hope that people are going to use the website, and I hope it's easy enough. for people to use it. And the categories actually we didn't want to. Okay, I can't hear you now. The categories are not. We didn't want to add categories at first, but then Sasha made a good point, and she's like, "Well, but we add." Sasha doesn't love software.
The house will be eaten alive by software because there's so much trade-free software.
Software. Because so much out there, and Sasha was like, "What the fuck? It's all about software. I don't like computer." She said that we should add the categories, but it's good to have categories now. I realize because you don't like.
What if you don't
you want to put anything specific, and on the first page we have a random like a slideshow of random services that you just pull randomly there, so you can discover some stuff. And underneath we have what they offer. But what they offer is so broad and so many things, right? That we couldn't rely on that. We wanted to rely just on that. So you have there are a few ways to search to it. So first, it's on the homepage you will see what they offer. So directly they offer books, or they offer software, or they offer something really specific. Then you have categories, which is just there are 5 or so categories, which is good because you may get lost in what they offer. There are so many things. And third, you can search. You can search for whatever you like, and it's fuzzy search, meaning that it will search for even if it's not you don't type correctly or don't type exactly. But if you whatever you search, it should be quite a good search. And the more things we add there, the better the search will become. So it's quite easy to search to find something, But what they offer categories and search. So I think and it's simple. We love this. My idea from the beginning was to make this website represent kind of the idea to be like pure in a way, like simple, like very edgy, not edgy, but like square almost, like in 2 colors, black and white, to be like no bullshit, That's how I see trade-free goods and services. Like someone like Internet Archive, they let me to upload videos, then let me the fuck upload videos, Stop with the fucking nonsense. They don't put ads into my face or ask me for anything else. Simple, And Sasha made a good point when I was discussing with her. She said, like, imagine if the world would be the other way around. If most things will be like this, like trade-free, and now someone comes along and says, I'm having some books. Do you want to read my books and also see my ads? And can you give me $1.99? You will say, oh my God, that's a creeper. What the fuck?
And I'll collect all the data that you posted, all the messages that you sent to your father and to everybody.
So imagine if you put it in perspective, how weird actually it is that people do that. But we are used to that, in today's world. So,
it should really be like fucked up, Like they don't just want to give me this whatever they make. They want to get something from me.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, in this world, it's normal because imagine how most people would listen to our conversation now, and they'll be like, "Well, how can this world run? All these people, they need to make money somehow. How can they live then?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In some sense, they are right in this. How can you make it in this world?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not our point. Our point is like, yes, we understand that, but it's also that's what drives people to be shitty, and in the end, like, blow up ourselves and this planet.
And sell more and more and more shit, exploit people and the planet and the resources on this planet. Mm-hmm. All the fucked up shit that we see today is just the result of this push to trade with each other, to get something from other people, mostly money, and so the more trade-free goods there are out there, the more we will have the capability to make more trade-free goods, because if we have a way to provide people with trade-free food, say, and trade-free accommodation, and people have more time to make more projects and just give them away for free, then maybe we can make this world less shitty.
Ooh.
But isn't Bitcoin trade-free? Someone says.
What
the fuck are we talking about here? Isn't money trade-free or what? Well,
yeah. So Bitcoin is just a medium, just like money that you use to trade with.
Yeah, like any tokens or any points or.
Yeah. So of course it's not trade-free.
Even if you give let's say you give to people like 10 bitcoins a month. We don't want anything from you. We just give you bitcoins. Okay, fine, but you just give a currency that can only be used for trading with it. That you cannot just fucking shove it up your ass and then feed with it.
Free nutrients.
Yeah. So I mean, that says like, what the fuck is?
It's a nothing thing
okay.
if you don't use it to trade with. It's absolutely
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Just like money, if we didn't use it to trade with, like what can you use on an uninhabited island? The best you can do with it is burn it to make a fire, But Bitcoin is just you can. No,
Bitcoin
I'm
you
talking
cannot
about
burn.
money.
Sorry, you cannot burn Bitcoin.
So it's a nothing thing if you don't trade with it. The only thing it's useful for is to trade. So of course it's not trade free.
Yeah. Well, I'm very curious how this directory will evolve, because it forces us to put it under the microscope, this idea of trade even more and on a constant basis. I like that. If you really got into it and start to comment and review stuff and submit stuff, you'll see that you'll get more and more. You kind of, it was this video. It was quite popular, and I think the Zeitgeist movement released the documentary Zeitgeist and so forth. It was from a movie, I think. It's this guy in the where is New York? Has this place with lots of ads, Times Square or something. It's this guy, and then he puts these reality glasses, goggles, and then when there are ads, he says, buy this, buy this, buy that, buy that. It's almost like seeing the reality through those glasses. Like, oh my god, I filtered the bullshit, instead of that lady telling me like, oh, if with this cream, your cream your skin will be perfect, or if you drink Coca-Cola, you'll have more friends, or whatever the fuck. It's always going to be buy shit. And in a way, with this trade free directory, it's a bit like that. It's like those goggles, and you can see those goods and services through those goggles and see like, they say are free, but they're not quite free, because look at them. They want to put ads in my face, or they say my data, So I like that aspect, and I love to see Aaron. Honestly, this is kudos to you, man, because I love to see this thing evolve. No one should care about Rom or me or whatever documentaries should care about this idea for people to understand this idea and take it with them. I always said that if you get the idea, oh my god, I'll be so happy if Aaron will take this directory and even kick me out of that. Be like, Theo, you are not going to be admin anymore because you are like drunk all the time. I'll be so happy if he does a great job. But like, I was so happy when I was reading his reviews of goods and services. I'm like, okay, he really understands this idea, and it's like, I like to see someone cutting to the bullshit. Like, oh, fuck up you with your good and service. No, you are pushing trades into my face. I love to see someone doing that. Imagine if more and more we will become like that and not being scammed by these bullshit services that we see in the world today that are sometimes so difficult to spot, so difficult to spot. So kudos to you, man. You do a fantastic job. I keep on saying here in the offline world to Sasha and so forth, but I didn't say to you that much, but I super great job. I'm super happy.
Thanks. I also want to say that this project is like translatable. So at the bottom on the page, you can click on any language and then you can translate it. So it's open. You don't need an account, and so everybody can get involved and translate it into his or her language. So if anybody wants to help let this project grow, you can get involved. You don't need to ask us or anything. You can just start doing.
And interestingly, you don't even need the approval for your translations, and maybe that's something for us to learn from with the reviews, because you don't need anyone can write any kind of bullshit. Actually, you can translate in Latvian or whatever. Is like, oh, this is websites about trades. Trades are good. Trades are great. You can translate that. We have control if you want to have control, but we just let it completely live. And I hope that we do the same with the reviews. But the thing is that with translation, someone else can correct that. And if you say bullshit, someone else will be like, okay, I will correct it because I saw the bullshit there. We should do something maybe in the future. We'll do something with the reviews the same. If it's a bullshit review, and they go live directly, we should have a system where people can just vote it as like bullshit. That's bullshit or something. I don't know now. It was an idea because the translation is completely like, you can do it whenever you want, however you want. We don't interfere with that.
But that's exactly the way Wikipedia works. Again, if you want to submit an article, you can write it, but it have to be approved by the members, not only one, but like the group of those. They've got like ratings and everything there. So it's kind of similar idea.
yeah, I'm sure we will going to do something similar with the reviews, because it's even easier for me and Aaron. If imagine if just go live and that's it. You don't have to bother with approving stuff all the time. That's our goal in the end, to be like, so let's see. But for now, let's keep it like that for a bit, so we see if people are spamming us or not. Because you don't know now. I got concerned with this guy. Probably he watches TROM-Cast now, but why did you write like just because whatever, and you put one block or whatever? Like, that's just nonsense. What can I do with that? You want me to leave that there, and I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, if you don't even write words, it's like.
Well, put that as a quote. If you don't even write words, don't leave a comment.
Then we can't accept the comment.
Yeah, but so from now on, yeah, anyone can get involved with that. I will be so curious to see how it's going to evolve. Maybe no one will care. So what? When I have time, I will add shed there, and I will use it. I'm sure I will use it for sure, to search for stuff. And another thing I was thinking, in the future, what we wanted to do, I had this idea of, imagine having a browser extension, right? And you visit the website. And if the website is already on the TradeFree directory, you will see the rating there and people's comments about the rating directly in your browser. That would be cool. There are some who do that with fake news, but it shouldn't be as difficult, actually. So we'll see. But stop. I want more stuff on my plate. Okay, just shut up.
Yeah. Theo was like, I'll start the documentary like weeks ago, and then he was like, okay, Aaron wants to do a trade-free directory, let me help. And then, okay, I'll just make this website real quick. And then, okay, let's do something else, and then something else. And then maybe we'll start again soon.
Yeah, I will make some lives with myself, because I want to do 2 live streams on this. Fuck YouTube. I'll do them through YouTube, but I'll post them on Trom site. About what all I do, for the project, trying to get some, maybe people can support to donations. Again, it's not a trade. If you want to donate, it's good. And then what I want to do next, because I want to do a Trom to documentary, so I want to explain that. In the meantime, I started to write something on the script, but I was busy. Like Sasha was saying, I was busy with stuff. Hopefully now Aaron I'm sure already takes full control of that, and I don't have to do anything in the shoes. It's there. I love that. I love that. How are you, Cody?
I
Or you don't like the directory?
Yeah, the directory has me ecstatic, sir. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been waiting for this for a long time. So thank you, Aaron.
Stuff there.
Oh, I'll add myself there.
And yeah, I was helping a bit.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know we were yakking about this for some time. So yeah, no, I will be adding some things to this, and yeah, it's already a new front end for YouTube. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, these.
Even if you want to search for an alternative, you should be easy. Like YouTube, search for YouTube. There could find some alternatives. We have to improve on the search and so forth. But there is a website called Alternative something.
Alternative to
alternatives for some software. Maybe this one will work in the future in that regards. But we need more stuff. This website relies entirely on the content. So if you don't help, then why aren't you? And then just help. Okay, try to help. It's not such a big deal. You find something, add it there. As simple as that. Yeah, muy contento.
I also just had the thought that maybe if somebody is completely unhappy with his or her job and wants to do something good or meaningful or something, he or she can look at the TradeFree directory and support these organizations or the idea itself. So I think this is a great opportunity for people.
What I also see as a great thing is in the future, we can contact these kind of organizations, because now we have a list of them, and invite them to TROM-Cast, so we can discuss about their projects, and tell them about the fact that we have this directory, added them there. For example, these guys at Framasoft, if you read, they have a donation campaign now to to support their next PeerTube, because they invented the PeerTube, they created the PeerTube. This is an alternative to YouTube. They are very against this capitalism, this bullshit ads and data collection. They are so against, like, we are not like that. We don't want to be like, bruh. I think Dimas to try to contact them at one point, but they were a bit shy or didn't want for a documentary that he wanted to make. Did you contact them at one point? These Framasoft people?
Yeah, they just said it was kind of a good reply. They said we like to do stuff, not to speak about doing stuff.
Usually that's how it is with these people. They just want to do stuff and don't like forget about it. But maybe we can bring some. Maybe you, Dima, or others. Maybe you can send some emails if people want to join the TROM-Cast to discuss about that stuff.
We need some more money.
Some money. You want to give them money?
How can you get their interest as well? In other case,
Maybe out of those hundreds of whatever organizations, we can reach to some, and we can.
No, of course, yeah. I'm just speaking about this from myself. It was cool. It was cool reply that they're really like doers. They do stuff, and they do a lot of projects. And one of them actually was you probably all seen it called like the Googlefy. They basically made a whole campaign showcasing all the Google services, and they made alternative to all of those services. It was like really cool.
Yeah, maybe I'll send them the book if one of them want to read that and maybe get inspired and be like, okay, imagine how cool it'd be if they could label their stuff as trade free, or just put a link there, or just mention that, and with the link to the directory of some. That would be really cool. They have quite a big reach, So yeah, so that's another opportunity for us to invite these organizations, no companies. Yes. Okay. Anything else to say about the directory that we missed? I think we said enough. Noel, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. Thank you for asking.
I'm doing well.
How are you?
Are you going to submit some stuff to Trade Free Directory or not?
Library Genesis, remember? Library Genesis? Library Genesis? Have you heard of it?
You submitted it?
Fine.
The book, where you can get books, right? E-book or something.
Put it
Library.
in the YouTube comments.
Library Genesis. I think we added that. Library Genesis. There are some organizations that offer free books. They're quite cool. Yeah. And if we didn't add, please add it. Let me remind you, Aaron doesn't do anything special. He uses the same front end of the website. Just add stuff there, Please do so. It would be super helpful. Have you heard us, Noel? Did you hear that thing, Noel?
Do it. Commands.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
You'll start trading.
Yeah.
With Noel. Otherwise,
if you add some trade free organization.
Otherwise, don't come again to TROM-Cast. No.
So next TROM-Cast only for those who added at least 5.
We're going to mention them. That's why I praise Aaron so much. I'm like, okay, Aaron, great job, and this and that, so that others could come, and then I'll praise them, and then
okay. All right.
It's a kind of what's great.
You do it to get praised.
People.
But I think it's a really positive project, just to have this like compilation of all kinds of different organizations that all they want to do is just help people, give stuff away for free. It's great.
And there are so many of them, people might not be aware at all. There are so many of them.
Yeah, because especially when people are like, oh, you guys have this crazy idea, how can this possibly work? You can be like, well, we have an entire directory with all kinds of examples that already in this shitty world are working somehow.
And it's like if someone will tell you, for example, oh, Sasha, you bitch about couch surfing and stuff, but can we do it differently? It's great that you can say, okay, yes, I'll give you 2 or 3 examples. I think that's very powerful. just instead of just imagining an example,
Right.
you know, oh, maybe we can do it if. No, I can give an example. Another point I wanted to make here. I was talking to Sacha about this. Couchsurfing was saying something like, "Oh, now because of this COVID situation, you know, we are so like, oh my god, we need help." Because, but why? Why now? Because people don't use their service as much, so that should be a good thing, right? No one stresses your servers, no one requests your servers that much, so that should be a positive thing. But they're like the airline companies. Instead of airline companies being happy and saying, okay, it's good that not many people use our airplanes because then that means using them and ruining them in the end, you know, like tearing them down. Instead of that, they are disingenuous because it's not about that. It's about the fact that they don't get enough in return. They don't give people's money, data, their attention, you know. And that's why the COVID situation is affecting Couchsurfing and probably doesn't affect Be Welcome or Trust because they just don't care. I mean, if people don't just travel and whatever the fuck, then we have less visits a month, right?
Yeah, they just
cost for our servers. So you see, if you offer
and they probably have more. Yeah, and they probably have more time now to, like, you know, maybe they'll make some improvements to the website, maybe get more volunteers involved to help out with the website. Meanwhile, not many people are using the website, and it's fine. You know, but because Couchsurfing is looking to get money off of each person that uses the website, that's why they're suffering now.
Yeah, there you see.
Agree.
And that's why they created, you know, because they also say, oh, but these airlines, you have to pay people, you know, you have pilots and flight attendants and this whole bunch of people, they need to get food and da-da-da. It's like, yeah, okay, I understand, yeah, because we live in this shitty world. But take Couchsurfing as an example. I mean, they have people in an office, people that work in an office, but they only have that because they've turned into a for-profit corporation. You know, otherwise, Be Welcome and Trust, I don't think they have an office. You know, they definitely don't have an office where they pay for out of their donations. You know, they don't need one. They have a few volunteers that work and, you know, make a simple website. That's all they need. And Couchsurfing is also like, oh yeah, but we needed all this money to improve, you know, our services, and you know, we even paid up to like $40,000 a month for Google Maps at one point. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, but probably those fancy maps collected a lot of data. You know, probably they were used for something else to, you know, get stuff from you. You know, so it's not like Couchsurfers are people that are willing to sleep in like random people's couches on the floor somewhere, camp. Like, they don't care about where they sleep, so they don't need fancy features on their website. You know, all they need is a simple website with some reviews and a way to connect hosts and servers and surfers.
Imagine the RNLI, you know, those people who save life at sea, right? Right now being like, oh fuck, not so many people are drowning, you know, that's bullshit. We need people going to the sea and ask for the help, you know. Of course they are like, okay, that's good. Oh my god, that's good. They don't need us as much, right? Because they don't get paid for that. They don't have any interest in that. They don't lose anything really. So that's how a sane world should react in such situations, you know. Not like, oh, we go lose. Oh my god, no one is drowning. Maybe our business is going down. You know?
Oh no.
Again, this pushes problems, you know, because if you're suffering from just taking a break, that means that you constantly need more. You need to constantly take, exploit, you know, sell, and of course, that's what's causing most of our problems. So,
Aaron, what organizations there that you put or I put that are on the trade free? Do you think it's there are some that are really interesting in that you discover and be like, okay, that's really really cool. Do anything that stands out? Do you think?
Like, I mean, basically everything is very interesting there. I also stumbled across some really interesting things where I had no clue that they exist. So, but a particular example, I don't know. I don't want to judge them. I think they are all of them are great, which provide a trade-free service. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have something in particular?
Oh well, just because now I'm I'm into like search engines for TROM-Jaro, but I found it's really cool on CRX or something. That is an open source search engine. It's really cool, and anyone can install on their own servers. And there are a bunch of organizations, mostly non-for-profit, who installed this CRX kind of. Can you find this, Cody? I think it's there, or if it's not there, we can. It should be there. You just search for search engines.
Yeah, I found it.
And you. Okay, and what is cool is that it's such a good search engine. It's it takes it uses even Google or Yandex or DuckDuckGo. It strips away the all of this tracking and bullshit, and also I don't know if they use their own crawlers and so forth, but it's a really powerful one. Like you can search for scientific articles. They have a tab of scientific articles, and even that is like if they found the scientific article that is free on, for example, Sci-Hub, you will open it in Sci-Hub, right? Instead of being behind a paywall. You can search in torrents. Like they have, you search for a file, you can download it from torrents. You can search videos, images. You can search on Internet Archive. You can search maps. So it's really, really powerful. I really love that, and we are going to put this default for TROM-Jaro from now on. And it relies on volunteers. It relies on. It's a completely fantastic, and you can tweak the settings. You can say should be strict, should be not strict, should search here or there. So that's something that I really love to see. I knew it before, but I wasn't paying that much attention, and then now I paid more attention to it because I was searching for an alternative to DuckDuckGo, because I said let's put something that is better, and this one is really great. So that's one thing that stood up for me.
Yeah, I'm also impressed by all these humanitarian organizations who help like millions of people all over the world, which are super, super poor, and they just help them because they want to help them. And yeah, they reach billions or millions of people, definitely, and billions maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's great to see that there are people which like good intentions who just want to, do good stuff.
And to have all of these things clustered together in one place and telling that to people, saying, look, you want to see how much good people are doing in this world. You have this really positive website where we gather lots of such organizations. Just look there. It's an easy way for us to just prove that people can do things without being motivated by money and without asking anything in return, basically. Just do shit. I absolutely love that. So I really hope that people will use it. I have a suspicion there that people may not, I don't know, they're maybe too busy with their Facebooks and so forth. I don't care in the end. I'll use it. I don't really use it, I'm sure. We're going to add more stuff, and it's going to be super useful for our books, for example. I will link from when I write books, I can link to that so easily. So that's super fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's great.
Because
and just to search for
go ahead.
No, go.
Okay, I was about to say that about like all these humanitarian organizations, okay, they help very poor people. But what I also love about this trade-free directory is there are things that you can use like straight away right now. You can go on Khan Academy and you can just use it, or you can go on ihavenotv.com or whatever and just use it, and VideoNeat, and you can use trade-free software. We have so much trade software, and there's going to be so much more that you can just use. You don't have to trade anything. So yeah, it's just you can use it now, and there's no.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty, that you can just use. I like that saying.
Yeah.
Fucking use it. If I install, if I install, for example, a clock application for world clocks, I want to see what's that time in Amsterdam. That's all I want. Leave me alone with the fucking ads. Leave me alone your premium subscription to give you more clocks. Leave me alone. Let me use the fucking thing. And in Linux, usually that's how is the case in TROM-Jaro, especially. Like, it is what it is. You want to take a screenshot of your screen. Take a fucking screenshot of your screen. Give me a fucking break. That's it. I'm so over these fucking things. I'm so annoyed. I think that's why I really love these things. I'm so annoyed. Now I love it because I can find more of them.
Oh, and a good example is also a book reader. I like my parents, they have a Windows computer, and I was reading a book with a book reader there, and there was like after 1 or 2 minutes or a few minutes, there was like a 7 seconds break, and they said I have to upgrade it to remove that. And if I want to use screen mode, I also have to upgrade it. And
They put a pause. They put a pause in the book.
What?
They put a pause. They insert like a pause, like a...
Yes, the timer, and it goes down to 0, and then they say you need to upgrade to.
Oh my God.
Do not have that.
That's great.
That's the fact. And then from there, I can just read a book, and that's it. I can put full screen mode like without a problem, and no waiting time, nothing. Like what the
My
fuck?
God. Oh my God.
So there you can clearly see they just want to make a profit out of you and just want to sell you their shit. And yeah.
The moment people accept these things and are okay with them, the bullshit that you explained is the most dangerous. And I think it's kind of happening. It's kind of there probably. But the moment that they're like, just 7 seconds. I'm like, oh my God. It's not about the 7 seconds. It's about the bullshit behind it, right?
Yeah, also like the advertisements. Because my sister watches a lot of YouTube crap, and when she watches a video and she doesn't have like uBlock Origin or a blocker or something, if you watch 3 minutes or so and then there's like 10 seconds ads like within the video, like what the fuck? And people get more and more get used to these things and get educated as consumers, consumers. Just like
and they will say, oh yeah, Aaron, but they have to pay for the service, blah blah blah. The same bullshit. You say, okay, we have the trade free directory. Search there for a video platform, and you'll see. Or I can give you the link. Just click the video tag. I can give you the link where others can do it without this bullshit. So that's powerful. It's a powerful way. No, but it's not YouTube. Everybody is on YouTube. Okay, but you can do it differently just because it's popular.
Yeah, the problem is people really get used to that.
Oh yeah.
It's funny to hear that such bullshit. It's even in the books. I mean, it just distracts you from reading all the time. But I remember one funny story with me. I was in Germany on Autobahn. It's like speedways, and then I need to go to toilet. And there's like if you stop in there, like petrol stations, you have to pay for it. So I think, okay, I hate paying for toilet, but like, okay, I'll go to pay. So I paid like, I don't remember, 50 cents or €1. And I go inside and it's full of ads. I come to Pissoir and like the huge ad in front of my face. And I'm like, what? I'm paying for this. And they put ad in my face from each corner there. And it was like so ridiculous. I think, okay, if that would be for free, I would still, I wouldn't bother that much. But then when I'm paying and they like don't even give me to piss without an ad in my face, and it's it's digital screen in front of each pissoir. Wow. It's really ridiculous.
The bullshit world. Yeah, I think the
level
of
taking the opportunity to make money.
Sorry?
Yes, Sasha?
Oh, I just said take any opportunity to make money. You charge and you look at ads and this and that. So.
Yeah, from all sides.
Oh yeah, the bullshit world that we live in, it's tremendous. It's so bullshitty that we got used to it and be like, okay, I think that's how it is.
Yeah.
I think we get used to it because that's how it is.
Yeah.
Probably that's how it's going to be for maybe forever, whatever. But
until we kill ourselves.
But at least we have some positive stuff here. So I really love the positive stuff. Like from Java, for example, is very positive in my view because it's like about these positive like apps and this operating system. Now trade free, it's the same. I love to visit it just to see what's there. If someone adds something, I'll be very curious to see what's there. Maybe something new I've never heard of. So it's fine. It's great. Great job.
Super positive.
Great job. Keep it up.
Good. Yep.
Keep it up. Okay, if no one wants to add anything, we can just go and eat something or. Okay, so next week we are going to talk about some sharing. The subject will be sharing, and it's the same Wednesday. It's like I don't. How the fuck did they like write this word? Like what the fuck?
2 days a
Oh my
week.
god! But this one is awful.
You never know which day of the week is which.
This one is awful, but it's a weekday, so I will remember that it's the weekday. Let's go for it's in the middle of the week. Okay, it's weekday, and we'll have a guest next week. So we will have actually it's going to be a similar TROM-Cast. Only this time is going to be about individual people, about Karen. Okay, today was about Ravan. Next time will be about Karen and how Karen can